It's almost that time. We're like 24 hours away, roughly. USC, Notre Dame. Could it be the last dance between these two teams?
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Colkin, and thanks again for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, you pick the platform. It's free. The show's always going to appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, you can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, guess what? You're getting $300 in bonus bets that you get to use across the entire FanDuel app. Download that FanDuel app today. All right, we've been talking USC Notre Dame all week, right? We're almost at the end. We're getting ready to get this thing kicked off. Hopefully, it won't be for the last time. I'm just bringing that up because I did notice that on USC's future schedules site, they removed Notre Dame from the 2026 schedule. Does that mean it's done? It's official? It's over? No. Does it feel like it's official and it's over? Yes. Hopefully it's not. Right? We want facts over feelings. And right now, feelings are winning because the facts aren't out there. We don't know. We do know they're running out of time to get this thing squared away. With that being said, since it's possibly the last game, this is I mentioned it on an earlier episode of Locked on USC this week. This is a playoff elimination game. Now, as far as the Trojans being eliminated from the playoffs, no, that's not their elimination. This is more of a Notre Dame elimination game. USC can still afford to lose this game. You don't want to, but USC can lose to Notre Dame. That would be their second loss, but they've got some tough games coming up. So Notre Dame already has 2 losses. We know that. They lost to Miami. They lost to Texas A&M. Well, they're not, after this USC game, they don't really have a schedule that allows even if they were to win out and go to 9-3, assuming they lose to USC, where they're going to have enough street cred to say, hey, we're Notre Dame, we're 9-3, give us that at-large bit, that 12th seed, so to speak. 9-3, Notre Dame with losses to Miami, Texas A&M, and USC, and wins against pretty much nobody else. It's going to make it a tough sled for them. But again, USC, even with a loss, you don't want it to happen. I mean, we've been talking about it all week, USC versus Notre Dame. But as long as they win their games, at Oregon, at Nebraska, you got some home games with some semi-dangerous matchups. Iowa, Northwestern, UCLA all of a sudden is kind of something you have to contend with, deal with. So last week, for a variety of reasons, I had postulated that USC's matchup against Michigan was Lincoln Riley's biggest game of his career. We know USC and Coach Riley passed that test. They aced it. I mean, if you saw the episode where I gave everybody grades, that was one of their best played games of the season, even with those two turnovers. Nevertheless, so this is a must-win game for Notre Dame if they have any idea of making the playoffs. This is not a must-win game for USC as far as having to make the playoff. However, it is a must-win. I cannot emphasize that enough, especially knowing that this quite possibly could be the last time these two teams play for the foreseeable future. So this is not a must-win for USC in order to make the playoffs. It's just a must-win because the last time USC went into South Bend and won this game was 2011. And we had Pete Arbogast on, living legend, radio play-by-play guy. We were talking about that last time, and I mentioned Juwanza Starling, his scoop and score. Notre Dame was about to score at the goal line near the end of the first half, and USC created a turnover. Juwanza picked it up, rambled back for the touchdown. That was 2011. Looked it up. So just want to say. So you have that going for it. USC has not won at Notre Dame in, well, this would be 14 years. And I get it. You play there every other year, but it's been since 2011. So it's a must win from that angle. It's a must win USC game because they have to prove they can play big man on big man football away from the Coliseum. They show they could do it at home against Michigan. They showed they were able to stay with Penn State last year. Talk about where Penn State went this year. Anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. USC has to prove, all right, we could do it on the road as well. And we could do it against big, bad, mighty Notre Dame or arch rival. It's a must win for USC because, assuming USC wins this game, nothing I think will incentivize Notre Dame to quickly get on the horn and say, hey, let's continue this rivalry, right? Let's keep this thing going. I mean, the last thing I think Notre Dame wants is to go out on losing this game to USC, seeing that Jules Shillelagh hanging out in Heritage Hall for, forever. Not to mention, I think Notre Dame would probably be a little ticked off knowing that USC, of all teams, eliminated them from the playoffs. Remember last year, they were in the national championship game against Ohio State. They'd probably like nothing better to have that rematch. Well, you don't beat USC, you ain't making the playoffs. I could say it would take some divine intervention, right? It might take touchdown Jesus getting involved somehow or another. I just don't see it happening. Not 9-3. There's going to be too many 10-2 teams this year because I don't think anybody's going to go undefeated. The only team that possibly has a chance to go undefeated, that's Ohio State. And I don't know if they'd make it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, USC takes home the Jules Shillelagh. They end that streak in South Bend. They eliminate Notre Dame from the playoff picture. Yeah, be a good game. Be a good day. Be a good way to end the series if it has to end, which hopefully it doesn't. Most importantly, this is a must-win for USC because it's USC versus Notre Dame. Period. End of story. Nothing else has to be said. We don't have to talk about all this other stuff. While that lends a lot of intrigue and it sets the stage, USC and Notre Dame, they're going to be playing for the 96th time. 96th. And I know other rivalries have been playing a little bit longer. None of them carry the significance of these two programs. None of them. This is an intersectional rivalry. 22 national championships between the two teams, 11 apiece. 15 Heisman Awards, 8 for USC, 7 for Notre Dame. Countless NFL Hall of Famers, draft picks. I mean, the list goes on. What this game has contributed to the game of college football itself, again, just do not have enough hours in the day, enough days in the week to talk about it. I could do it, but I'm not going to. I think you get my point. So yeah, USC Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it on NBC if you're not going to be there. I will be there. It's going to be raining. It's supposed to rain. Could be thunderstorms, thunder and lightning. Hopefully that doesn't happen because I've already dealt with that once this year. We don't want to do that again. But I can't think of a better way to end the series with USC winning at Notre Dame and bringing that Jules Shillelagh home. Because right now, if these two programs, the powers that be can't agree on when the game should be played, we've got to send some sort of incentive. This might be it. All right, 2 more segments to go. Next segment, we're talking about does the underdog actually have the advantage? USC is still a 9.5-point underdog. And that's with Notre Dame losing a couple of key players. We'll talk about that next. It's almost the weekend. We're almost time for USC Notre Dame, which means it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving you money every time you order, this one player delivered when it mattered most. So last week, the Trojans were pretty good on offense against Michigan. They had a couple of turnovers. You had that fumble deep by Lake McCree. You had the interception by Jade Mayaba. Both of those really could have changed the complexion of the game, how it turned out. However, it didn't happen. It didn't happen because of Trojans safety Bishop Fitzgerald, who was there to make sure it did not come to fruition. He picked off Michigan's quarterback a couple of times, and USC wasn't threatened. So just like Bishop Fitzgerald, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, you stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. That promo period runs through November 18th. SupplyHouse is also sponsoring this episode. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today, and you'll see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. With over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items to choose from the most trusted brands in the business, you cannot go wrong with SupplyHouse. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service, they always have your blind side covered. If you need parts fast for a project, not a problem. SupplyHouse has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. Plus, their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process that much smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. So we know that USC's been dealing with injuries. They lost their top two running backs against Michigan, Waymon Jordan, Eli Sanders. Eli is done for the year. Waymo is out for, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. That's the timeline. That might make it, if we go the full 6 weeks, he's not coming back till the end of the season, if he's able to come back. Well, guess what? Football's a rough sport. And while USC's been dealing with their own injuries, just mentioned their running backs. Elijah Page has been out. Your starting left tackle, Killian O'Connor, your starting center. He's not going to be playing in this game. And there's been a rash of other injuries throughout the season. But those are really the key ones that we're talking about. Notre Dame just suffered a couple of really key losses for this game. And it might make it more advantageous for USC. I'm not saying I'm glad Notre Dame's players are hurt. However, nobody was concerned about USC when they were losing players. And the reason why this might be advantageous for the Trojans is where Notre Dame is taking on these injuries right now. They're going to be without their best defensive tackle. His name's Gabriel Rubio. And every single Notre Dame insider that I have come across, that I've read, they agree. This is a huge deal. Massive, significant loss for Notre Dame. He's not like a great pass rusher. He's not going to collapse the pocket that way. But he's been their best and most consistent run stopper. And we know that USC likes to run the ball. We know that Notre Dame has to stop the run if they're going to make Jaden Mayaba and USC's passing game more challenging. Well, not only is USC missing their starting center, Notre Dame is as well. I mentioned that earlier this week. Their starting center, Ashton Craig, he suffered a knee injury. He's going to be gone. And I don't know if they have a Ray Reed waiting in the wings. They're going with I think he's a redshirt freshman, highly recruited, but still a freshman. And you're going up against USC's defensive line. So you combine USC losing their starting center, and now one of their starting defensive tackles, the one who they rely on to stop opposing teams' runs. This is what Coach Marcus Freeman had to say, Notre Dame's head coach. We had a committee at defensive tackle We had a committee at defensive tackle. Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman said on a Thursday conference call with reporters, obviously you don't want to lose Gabe just from experience, from production, from a veteran guy. They're going to go, whoever they have on that roster, they're going to try and do this by committee. One of those guys is Elijah Hughes. Remember that name, Elijah Hughes? He used to play defensive tackle for USC. From Virginia, transferred to Notre Dame. Well, he's been getting more playing time as the season's gone along. We'll see if he's able to handle USC's pass rush. When I say USC's pass rush, their running game. We'll see if Elijah is as successful as Gabriel Rubio would be trying to stop USC's run. And then they're also going to go with a guy named Jared Dawson. He's a transfer from Louisville. And they have a fifth-year senior team captain, Donovan Hinish. So that's your committee. Elijah Hughes, you got the grad transfer, Jared Dawson, and fifth-year senior team captain, Donovan Hinish. That's not the end of their injury problems, though. Staying on the defensive line, and this guy is also a special teams maven. Logan Thomas plays rush end. He leads the Irish with 101 special team plays. He's active. This is something else that Coach Freeman had to say. The value he brings more than anything on special teams is something not many people talk about. He's a great special teams player for us and can come down there on some pass rush situations. We're going to have to find a good replacement for that role. So you'll lose your top defensive tackle. You lose one of your better edge players, somebody you're counting on to get after the quarterback, contain the run. All of a sudden, USC's offensive line, which has been great this year, and it's been a constant shuffling of the players. All of a sudden, you're saying, all right, USC might have the advantage on the road running the ball. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just pointing this out that, hey, stuff happens, and USC needs to be able to exploit wherever they can exploit things. And that means running between the tackles. Fantastic. So USC enters this game. They're averaging 6.38 yards per carry. Okay. That's fourth best in the country. So when you lose one of your best run stoppers, that's not a good sign. And we're going to see if Notre Dame's prepared to handle USC's run game. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I think you're starting offensive line on Saturday. You're going to have Elijah Page at left tackle. If that happens, that means Tobias Raymond slides back to left guard, Gianre Reed at center, Alani Noah at right guard, and I'm going to assume Justin Talanu at right tackle. We can see maybe they just want to get their. I don't know how practice went, but maybe Tobias slides over to right tackle. Maybe Micah Benuelo stays at left guard. You never know. You never know. We'll find out together. We'll see who's on the availability list that they released. I'll be shocked if those names I mentioned are on the out list. I'll say it again. If I'm Lincoln Riley, anybody who's injured, I'm not putting them out. They're on the questionable list, or they're not on the list at all. Period. It's not like, look, USC can afford $5,000 fines, but you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that type of stuff. So we'll see. Again, the line isn't moving, which is kind of interesting to me. I'm talking about the betting line. FanDuel still shows USC as a 9.5-point underdog. And that can't be just because they're missing their top two running backs. I mean, USC showed they could run the ball against Michigan with a preferred walk-on by the name of King Miller, who was great. He's not going to be a walk-on much longer. Brian Jackson, he got suited up at halftime. What did he do? 29 yards up the gut, touchdown. That's a good combination. I'm not going to say this is the newest version of Thunder and Lightning, Reggie Bush, Lendale White. You can't make that comparison, but you have those types of running backs. Again, King Miller is not Reggie Bush. Okay. Brian Jackson is closer to Lendale White, but King has shown that he'll He'll run up between the tackles. He'll make you miss. He'll put his foot in the ground. He'll do a spin move. He'll make the cornerback or a secondary guy, grasping at air. Saw that against Michigan. We'll see if Notre Dame's prepared to handle USC's run game. Now, I brought up a couple of injured players. They do have one of their best defensive players back, Leonard Moore, secondary. I don't know if he's as good as Xavier Watts. Thank God he's not on with Notre Dame anymore. But I don't think USC and Jaden Mayava want to test that side of the field too much with Leonard Moore roaming around. Just putting it out there. But I do anticipate a big game from Mekhi Lemon, from Jacoby Lane, from the USC tight ends. And if it's a rainy game, could be ugly. Could be a sloppy run game. We'll see. We will see. I'm looking forward to it. I think Lincoln Riley is going to get into his bag of tricks, get a little bit more creative on the offensive side of the ball. He talked to the media during his Thursday Zoom. He says, I don't think I've really gotten too much more creative. Nevertheless, the offense has been clicking. Whatever he's been dialing up with his play calling, great coach. Keep it up. Keep it up. You got your work cut out for you on Saturday against Notre Dame. Got to get that win. Got to get that win. All right. We got one more segment to go. It's my Friday rant. I've been traveling. There's your hint. What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex dinosaur? Confidence. Pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's exactly where Rugiet's Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines two doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, so you can get hard and go the distance. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships directly and discreetly right to your front door. Are you ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet.com. Promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Make sure to use the code so they know we sent you. The NFL season is here. I mean, it's a great season so far, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets you can use across the entire FanDuel app. You can start doing future bets on the Super Bowl if you want. You're going to love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props. Maybe you just want to build a same-game parlay. Maybe you just want to jump into the action live as it unfolds. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com, the place to put your first $5 bet. All right, so it's travel day. I'm here in Chicago. It's late. In fact, it's actually Friday morning as I'm recording this episode. I almost had a perfect trip. For those of you who follow me, my everydayers, you follow me on Twitter, whatever, you know that I like to let you know how my trips go. Well, once I was able to get on the damn plane, it was great. No wailing babies. I actually got a window seat. There was a space between my seat and the aisle, so I had room to stretch my legs. I had Scott Schrader sitting on the aisle protecting me. It was great. No crying babies. Fast flight. No turbulence. I got my window seat. I got a spare seat next to me. What could be wrong, right? Well, that was my reward. I don't know what was going on with Southwest today, at least with this particular flight. I'm not sure where it originated, but the delays were never ending. Every 5 minutes, and this is not hyperbole, every 5 minutes for about 4.5 hours, my app, it kept updating. They kept saying, oh, your boarding time is this time. No, your boarding time is now this time. Nope, it's this time. And then it got worse. I got to the airport. I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day. So I grabbed a hamburger and fries, and I'm at my original gate, right? I'm at the airport, close to my original gate. I'm almost done eating. Another update. Oh, you're in a new terminal, new gate. Okay. So walk literally to the next terminal. And this one, I could not have walked from point A to point B and had the distance be any further. That's just how it worked out. So I'm sitting around there. 20 minutes later, another gate change. Same terminal. Good. I can stay seated. 20 minutes later, here goes the app again, letting me know. Guess what, Mark? Got another delay, and go back to the D gates. Yeah. So I went from Terminal C back to Terminal D, and it's the furthest gate away again. So I got my steps in. Look, instead of doing it every 5 minutes, why don't you let things kind of settle down, Southwest? Do it every 10, 15 minutes. I don't need to know that my boarding time has changed by 1 minute. And then it goes up, and then it goes down. And then it changes by 10 minutes, and then it comes down to 15 minutes. I don't know. I'm a common sense guy, and sometimes stuff that goes on just really blows me away. Just blows me away. But once I got on the plane, it was great. Put my neck pillow on, leaned against the window, got some shut-eye. Woke up 3 hours later. Here I am in Chicago. And I'm looking forward to this USC Notre Dame game. I will be back after that game. I'm not sure what time, but I will have my instant reaction. I'm either going to be in a really, really, really good mood, or I'm going to be in a really, really, really pissy mood. Let's vote for the former and not the latter, because I am not prepared to do another long plane ride home from Chicago after playing Notre Dame without a victory. It's my third time out here this year. Flew to Chicago for the Purdue game, flew to Chicago for the Illinois game, back out here for Notre Dame. So, excuse me, until that next episode, until that instant reaction, everyone, here, let's go out on this. When I say it's USC versus Notre Dame week, what's your response? My everydayers know it. Beat the Irish. Fight on. Till the next episode, everyone, you know what to do.